Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to another monthly update. This is a video where we talk about games I've played over the past month. We've got a gaming deep thoughts section at the end about Wargames versus board games. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's new and in the house, an ASL, Advanced Squad Leader update for everybody that's been curious about that. Talk a little bit about social media, so we got a bunch of stuff to cover. Let's jump right in and get started. As always, this video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games, and we'll be doing the $50 drawing to the gift certificate to Noble Knight Games at the end of this video. If you're not familiar with Noble Knight Games, they are a board game retailer in Wisconsin that ships all over the world. They buy used war games and board games and sell them as well. And special opportunity for those of you having games that you want to trade or get rid of. So most people know that Noble Knight Games buys used games, but what a lot of people don't know is they do this by mail and they pay the shipping for you. So it's super easy, and there is a special offer available to get even 10% more if you use a code that I'll talk about in a moment. But I want to show you just how quite how easy this is. So this is the Noble Knight Games site on their buy, sell, trade page. Right here, you can just click to start your quote, this little red box. But this is all you do. It's send forth your list. So you send them a list. You're going to get a quote. You're going to ship your items or drop it off in store, and they pay the shipping. And then you can get paid either in store credit or cash. Now, you get more store credit than cash. And the form, if you click on this link, it takes you right down here to the form. At the bottom of the page, you just fill in this information. It's like name and address, and then you put a list of your games. Now, right at the top of this form, they have this download our list template, and so you can use that instead. It looks like this. So you just fill in with publisher, title, condition, comments, and they list the conditions that they want you to use over here. And you just attach that to this form when you fill it off and send it off, and then sure enough, a couple days later, a day later, they'll get back to you with a quote for how much they'll give you for your used games. You send them off and they pay the shipping, and then you get your store credit. It's super easy. And special offer right now, if you use the code LOOKOUT in your communication, you can get a 10% increase on your first trade with them. It says just include it with the correspondence with them. So I would probably put it in this form somewhere in the comment section, say 10% lookout code to get 10% more on your first trade. So if you have a bunch of games that are lying around your house and you know you're never going to play them, sure, you could sell them all individually on eBay, but that takes a lot of time and effort. This is super easy, and your games will be put to good use by someone else as well. And I just also like to say thank you to everybody who's used the Noble Knight code, the links in the video descriptions and down below. I've got a couple $100 now in Noble Knight store credit piled up, and so I'm going to be able to get some games from Noble Knight soon too. So back to our drama at hand. What have I been playing over the past month and a half, 6 weeks or so? A bunch of stuff. I'm still, by the way, if you recall, I did some gaming goals, which was to play one game a day on average over the course of 2025, and I am well ahead of pace. I think we're just like 110 days into the new year, and I've played about 140 games, so I'm on ahead of pace there. And they're not all war games. We'll talk about that at the end of the video in Gaming Deep Thoughts. But what have I been playing? So I've been playing a bunch of Guest of Robin Hood on Board Game Arena, asynchronous games. I haven't read the rules. I've played about 6 or 7 times. I'm starting to get better at it. There's still a few things I don't understand, but it's really helping me, I think, kind of get a grip on that combination of coin games where you've got the rules, you've got your faction, and then you've got to put those two things together to know how to execute a plan. So I'm hopeful that this is going to help me with my greater understanding of coin games in general. Really fun game. It plays fast, a lot of subtleties, and I'm just starting to learn like the cards and the events and some of the other elements of gameplay. So I've been enjoying that a lot. Playing some Raiders of the Deep. Our series is back up. We just finished another mission, our 10th patrol right now. Fingers crossed, still going well in the World War I U-boat simulator campaign. Went to Circle DC and played a bunch of stuff there. So, Combat Commander Vietnam, played that. First time to play Combat Commander, it was a blast. I'm now starting to dig into Combat Commander Pacific, but played Combat Commander Vietnam at Circle DC, dropped napalm on a hill, which it sounds like it shouldn't be fun, right? That's not something you'd think is, but it was actually a really fun game. I really enjoyed Combat Commander Vietnam. Still, it was kind of the first game, so a lot of stuff I don't understand, but it was good. Let's see, A Forlorn Hope, which is a new game by Herman Lutman. This is in prototype stage where you're doing trench raids in World War I. Really fun game. I think it's going to be a fast-playing game. It reminds me a lot of Crowbar, but simpler and faster with still some good strategic elements to it. Played a game called Fruit. This is also a prototype. This is Dan Bullock's game. It's about Central American banana trade. You play as an impresario, either in charge, you're kind of hoping to influence some Central American companies, or the United Fruit Company, and everybody's got a different agenda and you're not quite sure what it is. It's a super fun game. I hope it makes it to a publisher at some point in the near future. Also got a tutorial on Paths of Glory from Nate from Legendary Tactics, and we've gotten together and played on Vassal a little bit now too, so I'm making progress in my Shelf of Shame challenge, because Paths of Glory is one of those games in that challenge. Speaking of other prototypes, I played a game called Envelopment, which is a Sam London game, and this was really fun. It's Wargame chess, and I'm going to leave it. He's still working on it, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but I'm pretty excited about this one and hope I think it's going to come along really well. I really like his games on the whole. Everything he's designed, I enjoy playing. Also at Circle DC, I played Undaunted Battle of Britain with Rodney from Watch It Played. We had a fantastic time. It was really nice to meet him. What a fantastic human being. Just as a pleasure and an honor to meet him and get a chance to play that game and chat as we were playing. He beat me, but it was really fun. We had a good time. And in games that I never thought I would ever play, Wes Crawford is designing a game called Urgent Command Bulge. This is a real-time tabletop board game, okay, where you flip over an egg timer and you have to make all your moves, and you're making them at the same time as your opponent, based on some dice rolls. So you roll the dice and that allows you to make certain moves. And then whenever you have combat, you go combat and you turn the egg timer sideways and then you execute that combat. Then you flip it back up and you make more moves. I've never played a game like this. It was frantic. It was stressful, but I think everybody should try this game once. I don't think this is a game for everybody, right? But I think some people are really going to like it. And it stretches the imagination as to imagine what a board war game could be. Super glad I played it. It's going to be developed more too as it goes forward, but really enjoyed it. It was a very, very unique experience. It's probably the most unique game I've played since I've come back to board wargaming. Also from Wes Crawford, but not at Circle DC, I've been playing Engine Thieves, the new game from Compass Games about the Civil War raid where Union soldiers went down and tried to steal the general and create havoc on the train line coming back. I've not played a raid game like this. You know, each of the Union counters are individual soldiers, they're individual trains, so it's very much a tactical level game. Really want to explore more. I've got Raid on St. Nazaire on my shelf of opportunity. Kind of will pull that off and play it now. I'm really intrigued by this idea because I don't think it's a concept that's covered often in games. And I think Wes does a really good job of making that game granular and tactical with a lot of the choices that the actual raiders were faced on that day. So it's been really interesting to explore that game. Also at Circle DC, I got a chance to play Root with Nate from Legendary Tactics and Randy from Legendary Tactics and Scott, who we met at the event. First time to play, it was really fun, and now we're playing on Steam with a bunch of people too. So kind of leaning into the whole Root experience and trying to figure out how that works. Also, the last game I got a chance to play at Circle DC was Charioteer. Played it on the last day just before I headed off to the airport. That was really fun. I'm not sure it's a game I would buy. It didn't quite get to that level in terms of how the game resonates with the types of things I like in games, but I can certainly appreciate it for being a good game, and I would gladly play it again if somebody else has it, or you're at a conference and say, hey, you want to play Charioteer? Absolutely. So it was a fun experience, just a little bit different than my style of game. Also got a chance to play Race to Berlin, which is the new game coming to crowdfunding on Gamefound by Portal Games. Super fun. It's a two-player game, and it was more fun than I thought I saw. I mean, it's designed as a two-player game, right? Because you've got a lot of hidden information as you're playing, and basically one side plays the Western Allies and the German forces on the East Front. The other side plays the Soviet forces and the German forces on the West Front. And basically, it's kind of an alternative history race to Berlin. The first side to get to Berlin wins the battle, wins the game. Super fun as a two-player game. It's really got some very interesting mechanics. Links to the videos are on the channel and stuff like that. I'll put some down below too if you want to check it out. But I've really enjoyed my time with that one. And then playing a bunch of non-war game stuff. Played some Final Girl. I put up a series on that on the channel. Viticulture, been playing a lot of that one. Playing Distilled, finished our first game of that. Ton of Wingspan. I've been playing in some Wingspan tournaments. Not making great progress. To be fair, in one tournament, I'm in the top half. But the other ones, I'm kind of playing against good players. I get just demolished. So a lot of room still to improve in there. Botany, got a chance to play that. And then some Heat, also playing on Board Game Arena. There's probably a half dozen others that I've kind of forgot about. But yeah, ton of games, probably about 60 to 80 games since the last time we've been together, with the bulk of them being non-war games. About one thing. I mean, war games take a lot longer, right? So, and they're more complicated. So I mean, we can play Heat 4 times as opposed to playing ASL once. Speaking of ASL update. So the last time we did one of these, I was just playing like a little learning scenario with just a couple units on the map. I finished through that, played through that. Then I set up the very first scenario, like Verville from the starter kit, and just played with the starter kit rules, the leaders and infantry units in there. About an hour and a half into that, I was looking stuff up in the rule books. I have all kinds of thoughts on the starter kit too, but I'll leave those for later. Mostly good, some not so good, but mostly good. And I wasn't really getting it. I mean, I was getting it, but I wasn't really enjoying it. My reaction was, wow, this is way too fiddly. Like residual fire and all the different kinds of defensive fire, even in the starter kit. It's defensive first fire, defensive second fire, defensive final fire. You're like, wow, could this be any more complicated? So I was struggling a little bit to find the fun in it. But then, war games, you kind of have to let them percolate a little bit. You got to let them gel. And then I played a little bit more and it started to click. And it's actually the defensive fire stuff and the residual, it's not that complicated once you give it a little bit of time, right? And started really, really enjoying it. So I played through the first Verville scenario. Now I'm playing the second scenario, the rat one on the East Front. And it adds in support weapons instead of just leaders and infantry units. So still in the starter kit, still making my way through that, playing, kind of jumping in, playing a turn now and then. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit more, but I am enjoying this quite a bit. I mean, the stories and the narrative that it spins, you can see it kind of in your mind's eye, and the heroism and the units cracking and the charges across streets and the smoke. And it's just such an amazingly rich gameplay experience. And I think I'm at the point now where the rules are starting to get smooth. As always in these, I like to slip in a little bit of a channel update. I think on the whole, things on the channel are going pretty well. Views are pretty good, and momentum seems to be pretty good. And as always, thank you to people for I really appreciate your comments that people put on videos, especially the positive ones. They help a lot. Actually, sometimes, you make a video and you're really tired and someone says something nice about it. And you're like, oh, that's cool. It's good, because that's ultimately kind of why you do something like this, is to spread the good news about gaming and the joy of gaming. And it's kind of nice when people say thanks for that. So thanks to everybody who puts comments on there and all the subscriptions and stuff like that. And speaking of which, that's probably the biggest news on the channel. 19,000, just crossed 19,600 subscribers. So closing in on 20,000 subscribers, maybe a month or 2 months, probably more like 2 months away for 20,000 subscribers. So thank you to everybody who's been a new subscriber over the past month and a half or so. And we're talking about the channel. I always like to say thank you to our Patreon members. A lot of new Patreon support members over the past 6 weeks. Scott Noonamaker, John L., Doug Bass, Christopher Stevens, Charles Mudge, Harry Hutchins, Tom Blessing, Brent, and Daniel Silverthorne. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. I really appreciate this too, because one of the things so a new thing on the channel, my current video editing computer was 4 years old, and it was really showing its age. There's no space left on it. And it was just getting really slow, and you're constantly waiting, and it takes a long time to process videos and stuff. And I've been thinking about getting a new one. I didn't have quite enough money to do that, probably about 4 or 5 months away. But then when I saw the news on tariffs, it's like, oh, this could get a lot more expensive, a lot faster, or harder to get, right? And so, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with those? But I said, okay, I gotta move on this. So I did I go ahead and order a new editing Mac that's coming in. So it just arrived a couple days ago. I'll get that in place. And the Patreon funds, it didn't cover all of it, but it helped out a good bit with being able to get that. So that's really good, because that's going to speed up the editing. So in the past year, got a new iPhone for editing. The previous one was 5 years old, and a new editing computer, which was 4 years old. So I feel like I'm set that way for like the next year and a half. And as always, the Patreon support has made those things possible. So I really appreciate all the Patreon support. The next thing that I do want to get, and it's not urgent, but when doing playthroughs, a lot of channels will have a video on the board, right? And then have a video on the person talking. And I'd love to be able to set up a 2-camera system like that, so that I could show more of me when I'm doing a playthrough without having to stop the playthrough and switch the camera and then talk to the camera. It's just, that takes too long, so it doesn't happen. So I'd love to be able to have 2, and that's kind of the next thing I'm saving up for. So thank you again to all the people that are the Patreon members. We do have, by the way, there's a Patreon Discord. So there's about 50 paid Patreon members, and probably I guess like a third or so are on the paid Patreon Discord that come in. We arrange some asynchronous games, chat a lot and stuff like that too. So if you are inclined to join the Patreon, there's a link down below, and new members are always welcome. And one thing I realized that I've not talked about on the channel update at all is social media presence. So I'm on Bluesky. That's my #1 social media avenue. So if you are on Bluesky or you're inclined to check it out, there's a really good wargaming community there. I also have a Wargamers starter pack that has over 100 accounts of wargaming companies, designers, publishers, content creators that are all in place. And I'll put a link down to that in my Bluesky account down below. So you can check on that. You can follow everybody with one click in that Wargamer account. And all of a sudden you're up and running with the Wargame community on Bluesky. And it's a very pretty active community, really friendly. I really like it there. I also post on Instagram, which automatically gets posted on Threads, but Instagram never really seems like it has a lot of conversation, so I mostly just generally post photos there. But I did want to mention that I am on Bluesky. If people want to follow me there, I'd love to have follow me there, and it's where I probably post the most about what I'm playing and what I'm doing.
So, quick aside, it's now about 2 days later since the previous 2 seconds that you saw. I was having a lot of issues with my old Blue Yeti microphone that I finally decided to take the plunge and move forward and install and set up the Shure microphone that I'm using now that I got in the Black Friday sale last November. I know, it's 5 months ago, but I've been busy, okay? But now I've got this new microphone installed. Took me a day because I needed a part, had to get an additional part to get it to work right, but it's up and working. I hope the sound sounds better. And with that, let's take a look at what's new and in the house. A bunch of stuff, review copies and prototypes to look at coming up on the channel in the next bit here. First up, Relic Wars by Denver Walker. This is from Flying Pig Games. This is a 2 to 4 player fantasy tactical combat game coming to crowdfunding at the end of April. I'll put in, there's going to be an overview video of a video of this one on the channel very soon, and then some gameplay coming up shortly as well. I'll put a link down below if you want to check out the crowdfunding campaign. We talked about this one before, Pursuit of John Wilkes Booth by Wes Crawford and Ryan Heilman. This is about you're chasing down the assassin of Abraham Lincoln, and I'll be creating some content for that too. From Legion Wargames, All Our Brothers, the Battle of Solferino, that uses the chit pull system from Blind Swords. Well, it's a Blind Swords type of game based on the Second Italian War of Independence, Battle of Solferino. So that looks like a lot of fun. And of course, just talked about this one already, Race for Berlin. This is a prototype currently on crowdfunding for Portal Games right now on Gamefound. And then we've seen this one, Engine Thieves came in and created content for that one too, so we know about that one. There's more though. It's been 8 weeks, so it's been a while. This came in from Alan Vinoy. He is the designer of this game and a Patreon supporter, and he sent this game along the Solomon's campaign. This is in the World of War magazine. Full game in here, and it's solitaire. Why did I not know about this? So, I mean, I think I had heard about it, but I wasn't aware either that it's solitaire or what it was, or that it was a full game. So I'm quite excited to take a look at that one, and thank you, Alan, for sending that along. And there's more. Another prototype, Castle Nuovo 1539 from Draco Ideas. This is about the Turkish siege of Castle Nuovo in 1539 is when we get in the Spanish forces defending it. Siege type, block type game, playable in 60 to 90 minutes. It looks really fun. There'll be content coming for that one up in a while as it gets closer to their crowdfunding campaign. Another one coming to crowdfunding in a few months, Persian Wars by Alcyon Creative. 60 to 90 minute game, Greeks versus Persians 494 BC to 466 BC. I'll be creating content for that on the channel too. Another one that'll be creating content for on the channel, Trench Raid. This is the solitaire World War I trench raiding game. I've talked about it a couple times in upcoming releases and upcoming war games, and this is an advanced copy of this one. I'm excited to create some content for this. There's a whole campaign in it where you can do trench raids in World War I. Solitaire game. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm excited for that one too. Then some stuff I got on P500 from GMT Games. I've been playing Guest of Robin Hood so long. I haven't opened it, but I bet it looks like, so like what you're talking about. I haven't played it. I've been playing it on Board Game Arena. I think I've got about 10 games in and now that I said, like, okay, I should buy the game, right? Because I'm playing it so much in Board Game Arena. And I also want to set it up on a table because it's a beautiful game too. The long-awaited field, wow, look at that. It's green, so it's going right through the green screen. The long-awaited Fields of Fire. If I put it in front of my head, it goes through me too. Oh, that's weird looking. Anyway, sorry, stay focused. I haven't had a chance to open it up or play it yet, and it's going to be a little bit while. I've got a little bit of list of videos to create here first, but I'm excited for that one. I think I'm going to try to nudge that forward and start doing the learning scenarios. And lastly, I was so excited for this one, the Battle of Normandy, and then I heard there are some counter issues that they're going to be fixing with it. They did publish an update on their latest April release about what exactly is wrong. It sounds like there's only a small amount of counters that impact the basic game, but it's enough that I don't want to punch it and clip it if those counters are going to be replaced later. There's a good number of counters that have adjustments for the kind of the optional game or the advanced game or something like that. So I'm going to put that one on the shelf until that counter sheet comes out. It sounds like they're going to be working it through production. Hopefully that won't take too long, because I was really excited to play that one and then heard there's a number of I mean, I don't want to punch the whole thing and then look for all those counters and swap them out later. It's just easier to wait for everything to be there. So a little bit of excitement and then disappointment on Battle of Normandy, but I'm sure the excitement will come at some point in time. A couple things I still want to talk about: gaming deep thoughts, and then this is kind of gaming shallow thoughts, but it's more channel related, I guess. Pretty much over the last 6 to 12 months, there's been a consistent theme in comments about people asking for more playthrough content on the channel. I've heard you, I definitely hear you, and I agree with your comments. And I want to say I was happy. I was looking over the content over the past month of videos, and it's about half has been something playthrough related. So I think I'm starting to hit a better sweet spot for that, and I do still hear you, and it's something I'm working on getting better at. And the funny thing related to this, though, is that now I've been posting some playthrough videos, and people are posting comments like, this is just a video of you playing the game. I want more insight and information about the game to help me make a purchasing decision. So it's like, okay, the channel isn't big, right? But it's bigger than it was before. Before, like, I pretty much knew everybody that posted a comment, and maybe once a month someone would complain about something. But now it's pretty much every video makes somebody mad. So I just thought it was funny because I started posting playthrough content again, and now people are mad about that. So you can't win, right? But having said that, I do like making playthroughs the best. It's kind of the reason why I got into this, and I do want to have more of them. So there will be, that balance, about 50-50 is what I want to try to aim for, I think. And now, without any delay, gaming deep thoughts. So in the upcoming Wargames video of what was actually March, I asked the question in a survey, do you play other types of board games besides board war games? And I was curious to say, like, how many people watching this video only play board war games and never play or don't play other types of board war games. So I asked that question. Before I show you the answer, guess what you think it is? And 357 responses. So a lot of people responded to this one. And these are the names that go into the drawing that we'll pick in a moment too. But here is the answer. It is 89.6%. So 90% of respondents said they play other types of board games in addition to board war games. Now, as soon as you think about that, you're like, well, okay, that's good to know, but do you play like 9 war games compared to 1 non-war game? And so I asked a second question, which is still kind of fuzzy data when you think about it, but what percentage of your board game time is spent playing board war games as opposed to other types of board games? And here's the response on that. It's a little bit difficult to visually parse off, but roughly from 3 o'clock is the 0 point. So that blue box under the 9.8%, and roughly about 3 o'clock, a little below 3 o'clock, is people who play 100% board war games. So 10% of the respondents, the people watching the board war games video, only play board war games. And then if you kind of carry over and group them all together, you get about 50% that play 60% war games or more. So about half the people play 2/3 of their game time as war games. And then it goes about 70% play half or more. So it's clearly there's a board war game emphasis in terms of people watching the channel, but there is a pretty good distribution of people playing games other than board war games. And so those are the two big data points, right? Data point number one is that most everybody that watches this channel plays other board games in addition to board war games, and yet most people who watch this channel play more of their time is spent playing board war games than non-board war games by maybe a 60-40% ratio would be if you kind of did the math on that. But that's the data side of it. The anecdote side I thought was interesting too, and I thought I would share that with you. And that was like, anything else you want to write about this? And 242 people added a comment in addition to answering the data questions. And I've been read through all of these comments. Thank you for posting them. Some people posting nice things about the channel and about how they like board wargaming, and those are really exciting and fun to see. But there were 3 things I think that relate to the questions that we asked that were interesting. The first mentions the rise of solitaire. So there's a comment like this one here, and there aren't names, so I don't know who put what in there, but just getting, well, there is, but it's not in the way I'm seeing it. Just getting back into tabletop wargaming after 30 years away, that fact that companies now make solitaire-only games is amazing. Where were you 30 years ago? So a lot of people talking about how they really enjoy solitaire war games. Connected to that was the second thing that I think really stood out as I read through all of the comments here, and that was the idea that you wish you could play more war games, but if you want to play games with friends, they have to be non-war games, right? A comment like this one, this is longer, but I'll read the top part of it. I'm finding that the more Euro-style board games are easier to pick up and play with friends, so we end up playing them more often than my beloved GMT, MMP, etc. war games. Boom, right? For a lot of reasons, like rules, time, complexity, people don't want to do it, all those kinds of things. So that theme and that type of answer was all over those 242 comments. So people talking about, liking playing solitaire. They wish they could play more war games, but their friend groups won't play them. Right? They don't have friends play them. And that connects to the idea these two things go together. People wish they could play more war games with other people, but because they can't, they end up playing their war games solitaire. And I think the overwhelming themes to the answers on this centered on those lines. So it was really interesting for me to read through that, which begets the comment, the thought that I'm having is, how do we help people find and play more war games, right? Board war games, whether it's Vassal or getting together locally and things like that. That seems to be the societal problem to solve with this issue. So, but anyway, that's Deep Thoughts. There's one more thing that's relevant here in terms of the answers. I mentioned 3. The third one is a lot of people mentioning, well, what's a war game, right? And so, and not in a bad way, just a friendly way. It's like, well, it's hard, it depends on how you define a war game. Here's one here. Probably that more than 90% historical war games, Dune, Gale Force, and Dawn of the Zeds may or may not be war. Totally agree, right? It's like, so how do you define a war game? And that makes the data to a certain degree fuzzy, but we can still tease out, I think, some themes there. So those are the issues there. I'd be curious to hear people's comments as to, does this data resonate with you? Does it make sense? Does it not hold true at all? And I thought it was just interesting. So thank you to everybody who posted answers to that question. It's really got me thinking about how do we help people find wargame opponents. And this brings us to the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to give away $50 in store credit to Noble Knight Games. Over 350 entrants in this one, the biggest one so far we've had. I've got everybody's name entered. I'm going to push the start button. Good luck to you all. We get Herb Boutillier wins a $50 store gift certificate to Noble Knight Games. Congratulations, Herb. I will reach out to the email you provided in the competition, and good luck to everybody in the next one. I'll be doing another upcoming Wargames video pretty soon, probably next weekend, and so we'll pick another winner. We'll have another competition then, so be sure to tune into upcoming Wargames to see if you can enter that competition. And with that, we've frittered away another half an hour talking about board war games and various things board wargaming related. I look forward to hearing your comments down below about any of the topics that we touch base on. Looking forward to the upcoming month. I'll see you in a new video soon, and there'll be an upcoming Wargames video out probably next weekend. So we'll have another competition then. So if you didn't win this one, as most of you didn't, you can try again coming up next month. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.